Okay, hopefully that fixes the sound. I'm just going to check whether we actually have sound on this at all. I'm just going to bring this in the background on my pad so I can see whether I can actually hear my voice. Okay, forgive me while I work through the voice issues on here. I'm just trying to get the balancing right before we crack on too far. Thanks, John, for letting me know in the chat where we're at with this. It's quite difficult to tell when you've got a headset on where the sound levels are at, so I'm relying on you to help me out with that. So I'll keep an eye on that. For now, hopefully sound quality is not too bad. I'm using a headset, so you can probably hear my mouse clicking in the background as well. Okay, so yes, as I said, we're going to pick up from where we left off. I've got to remind myself a little bit here because it's been a couple of weeks since I've played this. So we're going to pick through from where we left off. We're going to be working on some new tech, and I need to work out what to do about this Xindi event. I'm going to need to deploy science ship to work out and investigate what's been going on. I'm going to send the Zhengzhou under Charles Tucker. Trip, help us out here. Let's work out what's going on back at base camp. So let's move things forward and let's see what we can work on whilst that's going on.
Construction complete. Survey complete.
Try and keep an eye on the sound quality just while we're going on here, so I'll flick back and forth with that. So if I do stop talking, if I pause for a minute, it's probably because I'm checking on sound quality and chat. Wonderful.
Technology discovered.
So I don't know if you can work out who that looks like. I know from my knowledge of Trek who that looks like, but we'll see who it is that we're making first contact with there. Okay, so we've got some options in terms of new technology, ship technology now. There's a couple of nice ship designs in here, the Poseidon and the Mercury. They can be quite good. I'm going to work on the torpedo fire rate for now, just to give our existing ships a nice little boost. We'll work on upgrading the fleet.
Survey complete.
While everything else is going on, we're just going to keep exploring out the fringes here, keep doing some exploration.
Ships upgraded.
While I wait for Trip
Establishing
to
colony.
back. And it looks like we are just in the process of recolonizing Terra Nova as well. So if anything goes terribly
detected.
wrong, we'll still have somewhere to live. All being well. Okay,
Technology discovered.
Before we do anything else here, so we've got some free population here to be put to use. I might build some additional farms. Our food output is a little bit low at the moment. In the meantime, I think let's keep some of the ship upgrades coming. I think let's focus on making sure our fleet's prepared for anything that happens with the Xindi. That's a sensible option at this point in time. Would love to hear you guys in the chat if there's anything that you're confused about, you want me to talk about a bit more or understand about the gameplay. More than happy to try and pick those up.
Special project complete.
Here we go. So the engineering teams have analysed the wreckage of the alien probe, and they've identified that it comes from the Delphic Expanse. and the damaged computer core reveals nothing short of the name of the alien race, the Xindi. So the Admiralty have proposed a mission to the Delphic Expanse to gain some additional intelligence on the Xindi. So that's going to give us the option. So what I'm just going to do here, I'm just going to send Trip back off over here to continue doing his survey work. That gives us a new situation within the Expanse chain to select an expedition leader to help prevent another attack, and they're going to take one of our ships with them. So, relatively straightforwardly, I need to pick a ship, or we'll just take our fleet over to this, and I know what's going to happen. It's going to give us the pop-up to see what ships we want to.
Special project complete.
So we have Hortensia Rosario is going to be leading the mission into the Delphic Expanse. She's going to take just one single vessel on this mission. She's going to take a company of Makos with her. Now, I'm going to review this list because I think I want to make it historical. I think we need to send USS Enterprise on this mission, our flagship and the leader of our fleet. So we'll be sending the Enterprise there. In the meantime, whilst we've been doing this, we've encountered the Zakdorn.
Not going by unnoticed.
So, we'll try and be friendly with the Zakdorn. They'll pop up on the map in a second. With Hortensia out of the picture, I'm going to need another Fleet Minister of Defence, so we'll put our second fleet leader in there. So our fleet power is a little bit reduced now, with the Enterprise heading off to complete its mission. For some reason, Hortensia Rosario is still there. Hopefully she'll disappear off to deliver that mission shortly. So we're going to continue forward, and we'll send the Enterprise off on its special mission to the Expanse.
Technology discovered.
Okay, so let's have a look at what options we've got here. I think we'll take the lithium cost and upkeep reductions. That should be helpful. I think we've got enough capacity in us to keep expanding at this point. I'm tempted to take Alpha Centauri as another option because it does have a colonizable planet in that system. Eventually I do want to continue spreading out westward, if you want to call it westward, around this direction as well. What tends to happen is that the Orions will probably expand at some point and take over a lot of these systems, which we don't want to get them too strong for the medium to later game.
Initiating communications.
Okay, yeah, we'll agree to the Zakdorn's embassy. As you can see, they're just based up here, slightly further out. So, first Expanse event has popped up. After weeks of searching in the Expanse, Captain Rosario has found first clue. Trellian mining station has a Xindi labourer, and they want to arrange a meeting for a price. So, apparently they've provided one of his fingers as evidence. Gross. The organic residue from the probe that attacked Earth does share genetic markers with this, so we can confirm that it is probably a Xindi. That the Xindi may not be a single species confuses the investigation, however. So how shall we proceed? So we can meet with him, we can use the Makos to abduct that Xindi worker, or we can purchase his contract. Some little cost assigned with this. Now we're okay actually in terms of Latinum storage. I think we probably could afford to purchase his contract, which seems like it would give us probably the best outcome. So let's purchase this contract and see what it does.
Survey complete.
Yeah. So we have bought the worker essentially. Someone called Keswick, who is grateful for being freed, answers a lot of questions. He doesn't know the location of the Xindi homeworld, but he does know that there are 6 separate species of Xindi. So we've passed him on to a cargo vessel, and we are setting a course for the Xindi homeworld as we speak, which is great. That's continued to explore out here. So just a question in the chat from John. Feels like there's a lot of +2 options in the tech tree. Does it help to focus on those or an alternative tech? It depends really, I find, where you're up to. I'm pretty happy with my fleet size at the moment, and the strength is relatively good. So just some little bonuses that will help it in combat, I think at this stage of the game I'm quite happy with. If I was to go out and get some Poseidon class ships, for instance, in the tech tree, I'm inclined to say that wouldn't make as big a difference, and actually I need to invest the resources of alloys, components, and crew into building that up. Which does remind me that I'm going to set up. I did set up the recruitment drive edict, so I'm just going to double check if there's any others in here that I want to add on. I don't think there is at this point in time. We won't be doing the cluster survey until we're a little bit more established. So let's move forward. Here we go. The Enterprise has arrived at the Xindi home system, but this is not habitable. So a single world between 150 and 200 years ago was destroyed. It was a warp-faring culture, but it's been broken for a long time, so we're going to continue the search of the Expanse. So in the meantime, I'm just going to check in on our relations here. So we are continuing to improve relationships with the Andorians and with the Vulcans, so relationships there should be strong. Love to get a good non-aggression pact or something from these guys, but they don't seem to be very interested in that at the moment. We're not sure why.
Technology discovered.
The other issue with this stage of the game is that warp speed is really slow in the early game, so expanding can be a bit on the slower side as you send your ships out to explore. The habitability, I can't even speak. Habitability bonuses is quite good, so that habitability will boost productivity and happiness on planets where it's less than 100%, so I think that's a good one to take despite it being quite a longer term research project there.
Survey complete.
Okay, so here we go. The Enterprise has encountered a Vulcan distress signal out here, so let's have a look. The VSS Demur is heavily damaged, and when it's not responding to hails, we're going to send over a crew with Captain Rosario. Deep in the Vulcan ship, several crew members are in a frenzied state, and they ambush the team, forcing them to take refuge in the control room. It appears that they're under the psychotic effect of exposure to Trellium-D, which pervades this asteroid field. So what we're going to do here, so we can go in with the Makos and rescue the away team, or we can investigate a possible cure. Again, price-wise, that doesn't seem too bad, so I'm going to try and investigate a cure for that. So the medical staff exhaust all options, while the away team reinforces their position and hunkers down. Nearly a day passes before cures are provided, all requiring testing. We work through several options. We use a neutralizing agent. Within minutes, the entire crew of the Demur is unconscious, allowing the away team to escape. Several hours pass, and the crew begin to awaken again, showing no signs of their previous behavior. Excellent. The surviving crew express their appreciation, as much as Vulcans would, I suppose, and they promise to assist in our search for a solution, which is excellent, which means we get a bit of a boost for Captain Rosario and the assistance of the Vulcans, which is really good. So, okay, so we've completed the Discovery Tradition tree, and we need to be looking at what we're going to be doing next. So there's a few options within here that I can pick through. As I said, there's a load of options in here that we can choose from. One of the great options that I like to pick at some point will be the Supremacy tree, which gives us a lot of boost to our fleet power and ships. At this stage of the game, I'm tempted, however, to pick up the Expansion tree, which will increase the early game expansion that we were able to do, particularly around Starbase influence costs. That will help expand faster, as well as the colonization fever. So I'm going to pick up Expansion at this stage.
Available.
Carry on there. In the meanwhile, Bonaventura's completed its survey, so we'll keep going that way. Okay, let's have a look at what's going to happen next. So another Expanse event. These pop up pretty fast, so it's quite good that you build up a bit of a story of this. It's like a mini season, really. So, with the weight of the mission on her mind, Captain Rosario's attempts at rest are disturbed by a strange vision of an unknown being. Vanishing as quickly as it appears. Our senses detect nothing. Okay. The visions occur several times until at last the being speaks, directing the crew to a nearby system. So let's change course and investigate. Arriving at the coordinates, we meet a guy called Tarquin. So apparently exiled by his people centuries prior for his telepathic abilities, Tarquin explains that with exposure to an object of Xindi construction, he may be able to locate its point of origin. So all he wants is that Rosario remains with him on the planet as his companion. The need for more information on the Xindi is pressing. The captain weighs her own preferences against the missions. So we've got three options here. She can remain with him. She'll leave the ship. We can refuse his offer, or we can take him on board. I'm gonna pause here. I'm just gonna have a look in the chat. So let's this be a decision we make as a group. Anyone viewing? I don't know who's around. John, if you want to input here, or anyone else. I don't know how far ahead I am, so I'll just wait and see. In terms of the live chat, whether you guys want to pitch in with a comment or an idea of what option should we pick here. I think we'll leave that to the chat. I don't know if there is much of a delay here. I think there might be about 30 seconds delay. It might be a natural thing for YouTube to do here, so I'm not sure what the delay speed is. So we'll see what happens if and when we get some responses from you guys on this particular event. This is assuming anyone's to chat. You know, this could be quite a long wait if there's nobody around. Nobody wants to make a suggestion. Offer to take him along is the first question. Becca has no input. Boo. Okay, so let's see what happens if we offer to take Tarquin on board with us. So, surprised by the offer, Tarquin mulls the proposal for a few minutes before declining. He's worried that the number of minds on board the ship will prove agonizing to his telepathic senses. So, let's have a see. Should we offer to remain, or should we refuse his offer? Let's, again, go back to the chat. Drum roll, please, as we wait to find out what people are going to think. Don't leave the captain behind is the call from the chat. Let's refuse Tarquin's offer and see what happens then. So, rejecting Tarquin's offer is not as simple as expected, as the alien has used his telepathic abilities to attempt to fool the captain into remaining with him. Threatening to use violence against Tarquin unless he released her, the enraged alien retaliates with a telepathic attack that knocks her to her feet, which I think is possibly a typo. A shot from the captain's phase pistol fatally wounds him, though not before a telepathic attack destroys the captain's mind, killing her instantly. Mourning the loss of a captain, the Enterprise executive officer Miriam Morales assumes command. So unfortunately, the outcome to that is that Captain Rosario is lost, and we have a new captain on board, Miriam Morales. Hopefully, she will fill the role left by Captain Rosario. A bit unfortunate that, not very good outcome there. Let's hope we have better results elsewhere. Alpha Centauri has been colonized partially, so let's get working on that.
Technology discovered.
And we've got some new tech here. So again, a lot of the same here. Some more boosts, some dispersal armor. I'm just going to get the scout upgrade, I think. That should improve the quality of our scout ships a little bit. Yep, I can see from the chat that you guys agree with me. That was not an ideal outcome from our engagement with Tarquin there. Okay, so Captain Morales, as she is now, has discovered a planet with several thousand humans in some small towns. Architecture and farming methods are consistent with those used in the late 19th century North American West. I think for me, this one we're going to send a landing party and see what we discover from this place.
Anomaly detected.
I'll just send our skeletons to do that. That's no problem. Okay, so we've infiltrated this primitive organization, who were humans indeed brought to the world centuries ago by the Skagarans, who they subsequently overthrew. However, they've now enslaved the Skagarans. So they're on the brink of a race war that, coupled with several years of poor harvest, could destroy the viability of both populations. So again, I might come back to the chat. Let's have a look here. What should we do? Should we quietly intervene? Should we reveal the United Earth to them? Or should we leave now and not get involved? I mean, the Prime Directive doesn't exist yet, technically, so we can potentially intervene, but I'm interested to see how you guys, John and Becca in the chat, want to deal with this. Redemption time. Let's do better. Well, you've got to make a call now. Let's do better. Should we reveal ourselves? Quietly or overtly, I think is the question here. Middle option is the pick from the chat, so we will reveal the United Earth to the population. So we've landed a bunch of shuttle pods right in the middle of town, and tried to explain to them who we are, in an effort to unite both communities behind the promise of technical support. Through her efforts, the attempt has succeeded, reducing tensions and the risk of further conflict between both communities. So we get to discuss the future of the settlement now. So we were successful this time. Well done, chat. You picked the right option this time. Let's have a look at what we can do going forward. So now that we've resolved the community's conflict, we need to work out what's going to happen in the future. Assuming that we're successful in our mission, there are a number of options here. So both communities could be relocated back to United Earth or one of our colonies. Alternatively, we could just take the humans. Or we could just continue to support the colony's development by itself here in what they've called North Star. So with our support. So again, well, let's go back to the chat for this one. I'm curious to see what option you guys pick now. Whether you want to relocate both communities back to United Earth, just the humans, or allow them their independence and leave them to it with our support. So there's a suggestion of supporting their development and without any need to displace them. I think I could get on board with that idea. Let's support the colony's development. That completes that little event, and we can move on. But, it's a good job for Captain Morales. She's filled in well. And already we're at another event in this one. This is quite a fast-paced. This. So, an ocean world, well known in this region for its floating market. We're hoping to discover more information here relating to the Xindi. So, while bargaining for supplies, the away team notices a disturbance. A female slave attempted to escape her captor. She runs towards the away team. Okay, I think I'm gonna make the judgment call on this one. I feel like I'm role playing a little bit like we should do here. Like we are Starfleet, like we are the Federation. We're the good guys. I'm going to try and keep us relatively canon in that respect. So I'm going to see. I think our crew would probably. It seems like the right thing to do to help her escape. So we've rescued this runaway slave and escaped back to the Enterprise. Despite being narrowly caught by the slave master's mercenaries, the retreat is successful. The slave, an Orantaku named Rajin, is grateful and requests to be returned to her homeworld, suggesting that they might have information on the Xindi, which is quite good. Let's have a go to Orantaku. Days into the journey, and it appears Rajin is not quite what she claimed. Several of the crew appear to have been biotelepathically scanned, left unconscious for hours after the incidents. Worse, when confronted and confined to the brig, a squadron of the Xindi vessels has ambushed the Enterprise, forcing it out of warp. Rajin claims the Xindi ships only want to recover her, and that letting her go would avoid unnecessary deaths. Okay. Back to the chat, guys. Crisis time. We're under attack by the Xindi. Do we engage the squadron, or do we give her back to them? Do we give her an escape pod? Got Chris in the chat as well, so Chris can contribute. This might be a decision for Chris to input into as well. Indecision from the chat so far. Waiting to see. Come on, let's make a decision. So, looks like the consensus in the chat is fighting and engaging the Xindi squadron. Let's do it. It's the Enterprise. They can't. What could possibly happen? So we have successfully repelled the attack by the Xindi, which is great. Well done, guys. It appears that she had been transmitting the ship's coordinates through a subdermal transceiver. As it became apparent that they would not be recovering their operative, she reluctantly tells the captain about the mission they hired her for. The Xindi are interested in acquiring human biological data and offered to pay her well in return for it. Interesting. So she's now our prisoner. She will be for the rest of the mission. Interesting that the Xindi are interested in us, in humans. Okay, so we've encountered something down here in the Heth aliens, in the Crisari system, which sounds a lot like Crisari, the species. So we'll
construction
see
complete.
what happens there. We're a little bit short on influence at the moment to be expanding a little bit more.
Technology discovered.
Big problem for us in expanding quickly. So we'll work on that. So we've got some options here. I think let's take the secondary computer core. That gives us some bonuses to hit on tracking. Okay, so that's another science
Technology discovered.
done, and got some more research done here. That's our science ships updated. Not amazing options here. I feel like I'm going to pick up the heavy escort at this point. May not be able to build one yet, but we'll keep that in mind. And I think I can put our Minister of Defence actually in charge of the fleet for now, whilst our fleet captain's away. I don't know what species she was,
Ships
Becca. She
upgraded.
was just a lady called Rajin. It wasn't specific in terms of what kind of race she was.
Colony founded.
There we go. So we've established Terra Nova in the Cassiope system. Let's start off by just building a little city district there to get us going. So we've got a second colony up and running finally. To run with. I'm tempted actually, we could colonise Rigel Kentaris 2 at this stage. What do we need for that? It's reasonable to do that at this stage, so I'm going to do this. Let's call it just Alpha Centauri, I think, at this point. So we'll get a colony ship built and sent out there. So, this is just a little event. We've encountered an abandoned Xindi communications buoy. Appears to have been remotely disabled at least 20 years ago. We've downloaded its database, so we've discovered some more information on the Xindi, and that'll progress the event forward.
Survey complete.
Trip's finished doing some stuff. Yeah, I'm going to keep that as a balanced event at the moment. I'm not going to do anything crazy there. The Enterprise is fended off an attack by a small squadron of Xindi ships, suffering only minor damage. That's great, and we've discovered some information from the wreckage, which will help us keep moving the event forward, which is great stuff. Months of investigation. Has it really been months? I guess it has been. I can't remember when we started this. We've discovered a mining colony of chemisite, a key element used in the probe attack on Earth. So this must be supplying some of the materials to make further weapons, which is great. With enough time and materials, the Enterprise could fashion a series of explosives that will destroy the mines, whilst damaging the civilian structures. But any delay would allow the Xindi to collect more chemisite for their weapon. So this is an interesting one. We could do it quite indiscriminately, destroy the entire facility. We could destroy just the chemisite storage, costs us some minerals, or we could lead an away team to the colony. I think we'll lead an away team to the colony in this instance. And okay, so we've met their head of operations, who is a Xindi Arboreal.
Technology discovered.
So he was assured that their production was only for research purposes only, as is always the way, isn't it? So horrified at the prospect of his work killing millions, he's agreed to help sabotage the next shipment, and also provided a tracking device, which is great. So bonus for our captain, and that seems to have been a pretty good outcome for us. Some more research to do. Flying through some of these, we'll just get a little bonus to the evasion there. Quite good, and we'll keep things moving forward. Oh gosh, these are flying through, aren't they? An artificial sphere 19 kilometers in diameter composed of an unknown alloy. Scans unable to penetrate its surface, and the spatial anomalies are substantially more common and concentrated in this area. Interesting. I guess if you know the story of Enterprise, if you know the series, like some of these events are quite familiar, and you probably understand what's going on in terms of where some of these things are leading. But what I think is really clever about the game is that it gives you alternative outcomes for the different events throughout it. So in terms of the Tarquin event, actually that was an event with Hoshi, I think, in the series, which played out slightly differently. Obviously Hoshi didn't die in that, so it'll be interesting to see some of the different outcomes that happen. So you can go through canon events with really non-canon outcomes, which I think is really cool. One of the things I really like about this this mod particularly. So we've got another alien vessel, the Trianon, requesting assistance. So what we're thinking, bring them aboard, provide them with some supplies, or continue our mission. I'm inclined to help them out, but again, we'll go back to the chat for chat opinion on what you guys want to do with the Trianons at this stage. Because, as you say, we're flying through the season at the moment, so we want to maybe slow things down and see what's going on. To see what people think. I remember the Trianon. I'm trying to remember the Trianon thing in the series. Might need to go back and watch season 3 again. Help them. Maybe they have chocolate. But what kind of chocolate? I mean, are we talking milk chocolate, white chocolate, dark chocolate? I mean, if it's fruit and nut, I'm out. But or coffee. Let's help them out. Let's bring them aboard. See what happens. So, engineers repairing their vessel. The Trianon commander, Prinam Jamat, reveals his deception. Oh no, not another one. So they're going to attempt to hijack the Enterprise in order to use its superior weaponry to win a holy war raging on its homeworld. Can somebody not just be straight with us for once? So he wants to... Declaring that he will return the ship on the destruction of those he calls heretics, he urges the captain to avoid bloodshed and accept his demands. How kind of him. We can either accept their terms or fight the hijackers. I have a sense of what the consensus in the chat might be here. There's no way I'm going to accept the terms of these guys, as much as it'd be interesting to explore that option. So we're going to fight back against the hijackers, John McClane style. While several Trianons are incapacitated, a group of them managed to get close to the warp core, threatening to blow it up if we didn't surrender. Not willing to sacrifice the crew, Captain Morales has had to agree to their terms. Oh, lovely. Okay, let's see what happens here. Oh, we've got some new research as well. Yeah, you're right. It is quite an in-depth event. It's one of those things that plays out. It can feel like it takes over for a little bit. This happens quite a lot in the early game. You find that actually a lot of less of these kind of continual season events don't really happen much later on until you get to more of the bigger end game crises that come further on. Or there are some other bits and pieces that pop up that I'm not going to spoil for people. Let's give Trip his engineering boost. He's not an archaeologist, he's an engineer. Of course he is. Where are we at with influence? Have we got enough to expand a bit more? We're just a little bit short. I'd like to keep expanding if I can. Okay, so we've arrived at the Trianon homeworld, and Dejamat has scattered the opposing fleet and begins a battle to reclaim his homeworld. It's short-lived, however, as the Trianon homeworld has been all but destroyed by the years of religious conflict. In shock at the devastation, the Trianon hijackers leave the Enterprise and attempt to rebuild their civilization. While the incident has delayed our mission, it appears several of the destroyed vessel's computer cores were recoverable in orbit, and we've got some more data around this Delphic expanse and their spheres. So that's an interesting one. So at least we didn't commit genocide, guys. At least we were responsible for that. Thank goodness. Say, Miriam, you're no John McClane, and it's quite disappointing. Democratic ruler election. So we can look at potentially promoting someone to, or at least encouraging someone to take over as Prime Minister. I'm quite happy with Nathan Samuels at the moment, so I'm going to give him a little bit of a boost and see if that gets him back towards the top. Otherwise, Nauru, as a Kiwi, could be taking over as our Prime Minister or President of the Federation at some point.
Survey complete.
Okay, so more survey completed. We're going to just keep exploring down in this southwestern area at the moment, since other sides are blocked. Okay, so we've come across the wreckage of a Xindi vessel on the surface of a Class K world in the Uchrangay system. Why do they keep giving me words that I'm going to struggle to pronounce? So it says Xindi insectoid design. Interesting. So there are no signs of active Xindi ships around. So we're going to debate what to do. First officer recommends continuing the search for the weapon, as maybe there's nothing here. We don't think there's anything valuable there. The tactical officer suggests destroying any remains of the vessel to deprive Xindi of salvage. In opposition to both, the doctor urges an investigation to confirm whether or not any insectoids survived the disaster. Once again, we've hit an Enterprise Episode 3 kind of moment here. Interesting to see what the chat thinks we should do here. Are we going to ignore this wreckage? We're going to destroy the vessel from orbit? It's the only way to be sure. Or shall we investigate the wreckage? Okay, John thinks we should investigate the wreckage. Let's have a look then. Have a look-see.
Technology discovered.
Investigating the ruins confirms that there is nothing of value down here. And a Mako guard makes a grisly discovery. The chamber filled with broken egg cases and the remains of dozens of Xindi insectoid infants. Ugh. Ugh. Insects, yuck. After confirming that none of them survived, we are going to continue our search for the weapon. Job's a good one. Nothing interesting. Ooh, hello, photon torpedoes. I think that I would like you, please. Considering we've just got basic torpedoes at the moment, I believe. The Atlantis is only equipped with some spatial torpedoes here, so we want to get some nice photon torpedoes. That'd be
Survey
nice,
complete.
Let's keep exploring and keep our fleet upgraded so that one ship.
Technology discovered.
There we go. Okay, so we've got some alloys from jobs. Isn't bad. That's a good shout, but I think I'm leaning towards the Impulse Drive Mark II as a great option here. Faster ships, always better. So let's have a look who we've got available. Dedeng, Zhao Luo or Hong Si2. All got interesting sounding names. Let's see, this is a linguist, a miracle worker, and an intuition. I'm thinking the linguist's survey speed bonus will probably benefit as well at this stage, so I'm going to recruit Hong Si2 to take over from command there of the Bonaventure, which is great, and we can give her a boost. Now, what promotion shall I give her? The entrepreneur boost is not too bad. Gives us an artisan boost on the consumer goods. However, the leader experience game boost on Linguist 2 is actually really useful, so we're going to keep doing that. I'm going to send her off to explore. So it does leave Nathan Samuels without anything to do, but I don't really have anything for him to do at the minute, particularly. I could put him in charge of Terra Nova for a while. Let him live out his life there. While we're here, one of those things I always forget to do is keep an eye on these colonies. So I think in terms of what we want to construct, we're okay for crew for now. I might want to run that later, but I think getting us some additional consumer goods through civilian factories is probably a good shout at this point. We want to try and make sure that our income economy situation is working well. Oh, and it looks like the Eagle Valley is on its way to colonize Alpha Centauri, which is brilliant. Can we take? Yes, we can build a starbase in Barnard Star. Finally. Okay, here we go. Another expanse event. We've discovered a pod with an alien humanoid of trans-dimensional origin. Say that one five times really fast. So, questioning this individual proved troublesome as the environment outside of the anomalies appears to be toxic to them. Captain Morales was able to confirm a surprising connection between the alien, the spheres, and the attack on Earth. This alien species appears responsible for convincing the Xindi that Earth posed a threat to them, providing the technology behind their planet-destroying weapon. The alien died soon after interrogation. Interesting. So yeah, fair point in terms of expansion. I'm trying to keep... So yeah, as John says, expanding down into Nehru, Naria, these would be really good places in terms of resources. We've got dilithium in Nehru, which is quite good, and in Naria too. So absolutely on board with expanding out this way at some point. However, I do generally, as a rule, like to try and keep systems around my home system, my capital system, pretty well. I like a buffer generally if I'm playing something like this. So I'm going to put to Barnard Star first. The likelihood is that Tella will probably expand that way at some point as well, depending on how strong they're doing at the minute. From the looks of things, the Zakdorn are expanding quickly, and the Andorians have expanded a bit, but I don't see the Vulcans doing loads. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see in terms of how fast people are expanding outwards on that side of things. Yeah, we've fended off another attack and gained some more information. It's another random event there, which is good. Moving things forward.
Spaceborne life form encountered.
Ooh, an alien space station, 4K combat strength. That's not very nice. That's a lot stronger than my fleet, so we're going to leave you alone for a bit. I'm just going to send you to continue exploring around here. we'll need to kill all the Tellarites. Well, we might want to be friends with the Tellarites. We are Starfleet after all, John. Yeah, you need to remember, trying to play this reasonably canonically, and although the Tellarites are grumpy sods, we'd like to
survey complete.
Be friendly at least with most people. We don't start the wars, we end them, as the quote goes. Oh, hello. It's Captain Shran. Although it's not. It's named something different in this version of the game, apparently. So, we followed the Chemisite shipments from our previous event, and we've encountered an Andorian ship, the IGV Idranis, under Captain Shelithan Cray? What a name, Shelithan Cray. I like that. He sounds like he should be a boxer or something. So the Andorians have offered to assist us, upgrading our ship with some Andorian tech, which is awesome. They've asked, let's have a look. We feel like there's more to what it appears that the Andorians are all the way out here. While the two vessels sit at the edge of the system, we detect a massive energy discharge, further confirming the threat of another Xindi weapon. So, shall we accept or reject the assistance of the Andorians? That is the question. Even though he's not called Shran, I suspect he is still played by Jeffrey Combs, because Jeffrey Combs plays everybody, really, doesn't he? Isn't that right? Give us all the assistance. Okay, let's accept their assistance. It does cost us a little bit, but more than affordable for us. Accepting the Andorians' help pleases them. Their crew spend the next few days doing more upgrades on our systems, which is nice. We devise a plan to capture the prototype by using the Enterprise as a decoy, and then the Adranis can beam the weapon aboard and disarm it, which is great. And the mission is successful, and the two ships rendezvous in the Oort Cloud to jointly investigate the workings of the weapon. Several undetected safety protocols are tripped, however, and both vessels narrowly avoid destruction as the weapon triggers an overload of its energy emitters. The Adranis is heavily damaged, and Captain Cray is forced to accept the assignment of a small contingent of Enterprise engineers to help them limp back to Andorian space. I suppose it's only fair, they helped us, we helped them. So we've discovered some weaknesses in the weapon, but no clues to where the prototype is. But at least, we survived another event. Oh, here we go. So, crunch time, as we've arrived in the Azati system. Anyone who remembers Azati Prime episode, we're nearing the end of the road. I could say it's been quite a long road in some ways. This storyline. No. Okay. As we've arrived, we're almost immediately started to be attacked by the Xindi. The attack is soon halted, though, as a squadron of Xindi Primate and Arboreals form a protective escort around the Enterprise. Intense bursts of communication are detected between the various Xindis, until at last a shuttle docks with the Enterprise, and a security detachment escorts Captain Morales to the Xindi Council chambers to present her case in person. Understood. So, Captain Morales presents her evidence to the Xindi Council, proving Earth's innocence. Xindi fears that Earth would seek to destroy their species are shown to be the fabrication of transdimensional beings, those dastardly people. The primates and the arboreals are convinced. The aquatics want more time. However, the reptilians and the insectoids are enraged. Seizing control of the weapon, the reptilians and the insectoids launch the device on a direct course to Earth, while the Enterprise races to try and catch up with it. Uh-oh. So we are pretty much hitting the end game here. We're in the end game now. So let's see what happens next. Just before that happens, Trip can do some surveying. So let's see what happens with this event. Here we go. The Xindi weapon has entered the Sol system. Complete. An escort of several ships. If the weapon reaches Earth, the loss to humanity will be catastrophic. We will not fail. Okay, so let's have a look at the situation here as we enter the Sol system. It's a small fleet, and the Xindi. If I zoom in on this, this is pretty cool, by the way. Like, the detail on some of this is amazing. Like, the actual Xindi insectoid and reptilian weapons. That's the weapon from Enterprise. I just think the attention to detail with some of the sprites is absolutely ridiculous. However, in terms of combat strength, I'm not massively worried. We just need to stop it before it gets to Earth, because our fleet is pretty strong. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to slow things down slightly, because I think this is a good moment. Here we go. Fully repaired, the Vulcan starship Demur enters the Sol system with orders to assist Earth against the Xindi weapon. They may tip the balance in this coming battle. Hey, the Vulcans have shown up, like Rohirrim riding over the hill. Similarly, the Andorian ship Adranis has arrived to help as well. Again, so they're going to help tip the battle. So we've got, not only have we got our home fleet, we've got the Enterprise, which is down here, Enterprise under Captain Morales, the VSS Demur and the Adranis all coming together. This brings a tear to my eye as all of these fleets gather together to fight the Xindi invasion of the Sol system. So
Engaging enemy
that said, the fact that the Vulcans are going in solo in this, flipping Leroy Jenkins here, Vulcan guys, come on.
Spaceborne life form encountered.
So yeah, looks like the Atlantis is leading the charge here under Ren Yamaguchi, as the Vulcans are trying to distract the fleet. You can see here, if I zoom in a little bit, you can see the weapons firing engagement. Oh, yeah, they've bailed. They did not enjoy that one. That did not go well for the Vulcans. But here comes Starfleet engaging the Xindi. Cue awesome battle music. Cue zoom in as we can see. There you go. There's the Atlantis firing. There's the other ships engaged with the Xindi here, doing some incredible damage to the escorts. So I think the escorts will probably not last long against our fleet here. Yeah, we've taken them out, and so all it's going to remain is for the Enterprise and the Andorians to show up and help us kick their ass with this ship.
Discovered.
Just as we developed photon torpedoes right at the very last moment. Unfortunately, not in time to defend it. But hey, so it's pretty much on fire now as it's coming through. Let's just get rid of you so we can continue to watch the destruction of the Xindi probe as it's hammered by Starfleet.
Technology discovered.
Yeah, sorry, that's a low speed, so let's just speed up. You don't just want to watch it slowly by. I mean, guys, it's getting pretty close to Earth here, guys. You might want to blow it up. It's getting closer and closer and closer and closer. I feel fairly confident that the Xindi weapon doesn't actually do any damage to my ships, and it's
Technology
pretty much on its last legs here. Yeah, go on, let's get Poseidon. There we go. The Xindi weapon has been destroyed. The efforts of Starfleet cannot be overstated. Devastated by the loss of their weapon and their fleet, the Xindi reptilians and insectoids have accepted an ultimatum by the other Xindi species for defying the will of the Council. The primates, arboreals, and aquatics have promised to uphold peace between the two powers, though relations will not be easy. Thus ends the expansive event chain. Thankfully, the Enterprise is not sent back in time to World War II, and we don't have to go through all of the temporal Cold War stuff. What a relief. However, Earth can rest easy now that the Expanse chain has ended. Hooray, we won. And on the back of that, the Andorians, thank you very much. They depart back to Andoria, reflecting upon what's transpired. In the aftermath, many are wondering whether growing our alliances might be the key to securing our future. I'm inclined to agree. Similarly, we have the same for the Vulcans. They did Leroy Jenkins it in like Vulcans do. Well done, guys. Thanks for your help with all of that. So we've got the Earth Defense Fleet back up together. I'm going to send them off for full upgrades and repairs as the event is finished now. All good. So, let's continue exploring out here. Kaldic and Malona seem to have hostiles in them, so we're going to probably have to avoid them for now until we're in a slightly better position. Yes, John, I know that if the Enterprise went back and came back again, yes, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. Yes. So, the Xindi have appeared on the map as well up here, so they've got the Azati system here, so they will appear on the map and they'll be around for the rest of the game. They'll be a power in the playthrough, much like anyone else. They'll potentially be able to expand in the future and engage in other conflict and interactions with people. So, with the Xindi crisis at a conclusion, the future of the Skagaran and human population on North Star must be resolved. So, again, I'm going to go back to the chat for this one. So we did say that we were going to support the colony's development before. We can leave it to be completely independent if we like, or we could do the relocation. So I'll let you guys decide in the chat. I'll give you a second to work out what you want to do in terms of how should we let that one play out? How should we? What option should we pick here? Spy network on Xindi. We could set up spy network on the Xindi homeworld if we wanted to. Given the distance, I'm not sure it's necessary at this point, but we'll see. So we're going to continue to support their development. A couple of options in the chat there. Let's do that. Let's support their development. Oh, we've appeared. We're getting a transmission from them, which is a bit odd. But anyway, so the North Star Confederation now exists as a group. They are fanatic materialist militarists. So they're not necessarily friendly to us. However,
Spaceborne life.
here they go. They appear on the map
encountered.
as a protectorate because we're supporting their development. They are now a protectorate under the United Earth. It also shows that the Xindi have got another colony in Katana as well, which is nice. Nice to see. I can't help but notice the system appeared randomly over here. It suggests there might be another alien race out there somewhere. Okay, so now that I'm not distracted totally by Xindi events, I can get back to actually running an empire, or running the United Earth development.
Ships upgraded.
Which is nice. Fleet's fully upgraded. We've got a pretty strong fleet now. 1.7k strength.
Survey complete.
The Vulcans have got a huge fleet, which is interesting. I'm not sure what they're going to do with that. We'll see. We're still slightly up there with the Tellarites, though.
Survey
Not necessarily
complete.
got much I need to do with the fleets right now, but we're just in a state of expansion at this point, so we're just going to continue to explore and build out our colonies. We probably need to get some more influence, but given the state of our defensive packs and arrangements we've made, we might find that that's
Spaceborne life form
to do.
encountered.
What we can do, however, is some of these first contacts will give us, once they are finished, they will give us influence for completing them. So it's generally a good idea to try and work our way through.
Science ship under fire.
Science ship under fire. Where is that? Seems to be some sort of alien space station here attacking our ship, but not actually doing any damage. So I'll just leave that alone, I think. That's a bit random.
Council agenda ready.
Council agenda ready, so we can expand the council and get a new position. So we have options for a welfare minister or a director of exploration, which one of our scientists or commanders can take. I'm going to pick a director of exploration. Yep, Trip. That makes loads of sense. Charles Tucker is now our director of exploration. I think that's awesome. We need to pick a new council agenda. I'd love to get down to the position where we can start forming the Federation, but we need some alliances first, so we'll have to wait on that one. Let's have a think about this. If we do come in peace... Yeah, I think if we do we come in peace, that'll build some relations with our neighbours. and increase the trust cap, which means that they'll trust us diplomatically a bit more, which hopefully would mean that they might want to form an alliance with us. I don't have the diplomacy tradition yet. That'll take me a little while to develop. Sometimes the Vulcans go ahead and do that themselves and offer me an alliance, so we'll have to wait and see. They can be a bit iffy with the Andorians as well, because the Vulcans sometimes they get a bit aggressive towards each other. So we'll see. We've discovered a new life form in that area, I assume. Some kind of automated mechanical drones. I believe that might be one of the vanilla Stellaris
Construction complete.
space monster-y type creatures floating around out there.
Colony
So,
established.
So, Clystron's been explored. We'll continue sending you up there. Alpha Centauri is now ours. Going off to do the standard thing of setting up some cities there, some places for people to live. Okay, so we've got some options here again. The happiness in the Hollow Lounge isn't too bad. Happiness is always good for the Empire because it just basically means everyone's a bit more productive and we gain resources at a faster rate. Although the Type 2 phasers and Type 2 torpedoes is not a bad shout either, so I'm going to pick up phasers. I think making sure our ships are as well armed as they can be is always helpful. Even though at this stage of the game we're not necessarily going to need to use them for anything. Just it's a nice comfort blanket, you know? It's a nice comfort
Anomaly
blanket.
detected.
Again, if you've got questions or about the game, about the mod in general, or how this
Technology
plays compared
discovered.
to Vanilla Stellaris, do bob them in the chat. I've played this mod for a long time. It's constantly being updated with new stuff. We've just got the Poseidon, but we'll keep it. We'll get it refit. Don't know if you can hear the music in the background of the game. It's got the Lower Decks theme music as one of the background tracks, which is awesome. I love that. Do I specialise my planets or make them more generalistic so they can support themselves? It will vary from playthrough to playthrough, especially once. So what will happen is obviously I've only got 3 colonies with the United Earth at the moment. As you later begin to form the Federation, you start to absorb the colonies of the other members. So what I mean by that is once let's say we formed the Federation with the Vulcans, what the game does is allows me to take over essentially all of it. I absorb Vulcan territory and become one sort of mega empire. Not like a Megazord, but a mega empire. So I get all of their colonies eventually. It kind of drips through, so you don't get them immediately. It kind of happens over a period of time. So once that happens, I will have to start rejigging because the AI is terrible at looking after their own economy. So a lot of the time I'll end up rejigging based on what they've been doing and what I need. What will probably end up happening is they'll be building buildings that tank my energy credit production, for instance, and so I'll have to completely rejig all the colonies, and it's a bit of a pain in the bum. A little diplomatic incident with the Orions. Telling to apparently the Orion Intelligence Service apprehended an United Earth citizen who they accused of being a Starfleet intelligence asset. So they don't like us very much anymore. I'm not even spying on you guys, at least not deliberately. Unless that's Section 31, but I don't know. Deniable. Yeah, you're right, John. The AI is pretty horrid. Oh, hello. We've encountered the Trill Republic. That's quite good. Yeah, our citizens send their regard, Trills. We like the Trill. Pretty sure I've played Trill characters in Obsidian before. Might have 1 or 2 NPCs. Yeah. Like a good Trill. Ren Namaguchi, Minister of Defense. Butcher makes him sound so nice, so let's give him some prudence, shall we? Not sure what that's all about. Since we've completed the first okay, we've not finished the first contact there, but Crisari, that system there that was occupied, it does seem to be where the Trill might have been operating out from, so that's interesting. So the Trill homeworld's over here, but they've got a small empire already built, the Trill, which is quite good. We'll make friends with you later. I made that sound so
Initiating communications.
Yes, we'll have an embassy with you, Trill. I'm going to send my construction ship down this way. We're still ways off being able to expand even further, but I want to try and get Mukassia up here before the Orions do their thing and just keep
Survey complete.
Which is frustrating, but again, like you say, it's what the AI do. Sometimes they deliberately try and expand in such a way that blocks you in. And we've encountered yet another alien race.
An alien empire is making contact.
Let's go ahead and do that then. Sometimes I forget I leave the game on pause.
Technology
why is nothing
discovered.
happening? Because you left it on pause for the last 5 minutes. I tend to pause quite often when I'm looking at things like the research, so I can not feel rushed. Component cost reductions are really good to pick up. I tend to like to pick up the component reduction cost, particularly later on in the game. As you get more advanced ships, their component cost increases exponentially, and you can have, like, the Constitution class ship can be ridiculous in terms of its component cost. So I do often try and beeline some of the component cost reductions and their upkeep reductions so that that's a bit more efficient. Tend never to have an issue with deuterium upkeep. It just never seems to be that much of a problem consumption-wise. So there's a few options in here that I might pick. Stealth plating is a rare technology. I don't necessarily need it. I quite like the idea of getting the Columbia refit. It's really cool, the Columbia refit as well. So depending on how much of the lore you know outside of the TV shows, but it's an NX class upgrade that tweaks the ship slightly. Now then, considering we're in an Orion game, the Orions tend to do some stuff that's really annoying, which is setting up criminal enterprises in our planets. So I'm going to take the policing techniques thing to reduce crime. The Orion corporate holdings, what they can often do is they build crime. So they'll have a syndicate branch there that you can see is increasing the crime on our planet. As that crime increases, it reduces stability, which then reduces things like resource fulfillment, things like that. So there's a balance to be had. You want to try and keep crime low to make sure you've got good stability and happiness. The Orions are a real pain in just setting up a criminal enterprise on your planet and tanking its stability. So frustrating. We have a free pop at the moment. Everything's looking pretty sound, so I'm going to put it into the industrial district for the moment.
Survey complete.
So yeah, the refit system's a bit of a strange one. It's kind of nice. It's a nice thing. I put that nice in inverted commas. You get so many of them, and they show up so randomly. I've had games where you get random, like an upgrade for one of your old ships, like you might get an Intrepid type update for this ship model, but it might, you might be on the way out. You might have already discovered way ahead in terms of tech, so it's a bit of a strange one. So our Minister of State's got a specialist veteran promotion now. So he's got an Ivatar. He's the Minister of State, which affects our envoys and diplomacy. Some of these will add interesting things as a councillor. So adding diplomatic weight is good. That's adding particular sector and planetary effects. The ambassador effect is really good. Trust growth I really like. Trust growth means that people are generally more trusting of you, as it kind of hints. So that's really good for building alliances and staying friendly with everyone. So at this stage, I'd quite like that for our Minister of State. If I turn him into an ambassador, it can help boost the relations that we have with various different other entities out there as we progress. Yeah, as I feel like that's going to be something that I need at the moment. I need to keep building alliances. So we've made first contact with another one in the Stellaris system. So as you can see, there's going to be, if I zoom the map all the way out, We are such a tiny little thing in the middle here. I mean, when we form the Federation, we'll be slightly bigger when we eventually get there. But you can see the size of this map. This is enormous, and actually, this is one of the this is ironically one of the smaller maps. This is just the Alpha Beta quadrant stuff. So this doesn't even go into the Delta and Gamma quadrants. It doesn't have any of the species from those places in it. So if I was to do a full Milky Way run, this map would be absolutely vast. With this, all of the stuff you're seeing here would be kind of much more compacted. There'd probably be fewer of these people out here, so the Zakdor might not show up in a big Milky Way map. The Orions might not show up. It'll probably limit it to some of the major powers that appear in those in the wider Trek canon, you might say. So yeah, like I say, there's
Initiating communications.
very little chance we'll see things like the Borg or the Dominion appear in this playthrough, although they do appear in certain crisis events. We've seen that happen. Who knows what will happen? Let's find that noise creepy on the... So we're just in the Alpha and Beta quadrants here, let's say, John. So technically, if you were to draw a line down the middle of the map, you kind of Alpha quadrant on one side and Beta on the other. I don't know how it works. It's so iffy. Canon with the maps, I don't know how it works. Somebody once said that the Klingons are in the Beta quadrant. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Survey complete.
So we're sort of hitting a point of the game now where it's going to feel a little bit more grindy now that the Expanse change's done. Still got to build up towards, as I say, forming some more alliances, building up our Unity tree. There we go. So we've got into the expansion tree now. I'm actually tempted at this point, although I picked the expansion tree to look into. I could go down the diplomacy. I could open up the diplomacy tree, and attempt to beeline Federation, which would let me start forming alliances. Alliances then allow you to form the Federation if you get enough of them with founding members. So I might just pause here and leave it for the chat to kind of give some feeling about whether they want us to... what should we do here? Should we continue with the expansion tree, or should I open up the Federation tree and see if I can start forming some alliances? I'll let that one kind of wait out in the chat as a vote. And I'm talking so much, I need to drink some water. Yeah, I think, I think I agree with you guys. I would quite like to try and build towards the Federation here, so let's take the diplomacy, I think just make sure it's the diplomacy tree, and then I can get, yes, the alliances.
Council
so
agenda available.
It's going to take a while before I'm able to build the Unity to do that. Years, in fact, but we'll eventually build towards that. What I might be able to do on one of my colonies is, if I can get a national monument built here, that should help increase my Unity production, and then we can get there faster. Time to upgrade the fleet again.
Spaceborne life form encountered.
More spaceborne life forms. There's loads of these space monsters down here. All the time. So they cluster up around here sort of quite often. One of the things I try and do, just for reference, with fleet upgrades, in terms of upgrading them with the new tech and the upgrades that they get, I tend not to do them as soon as they become available. I might leave it a few years, because as new tech comes out, you end up expending more resources just to do upgrades again. So
evading hostiles.
Yeah. Random event with an unstable wormhole. A Vulcan ship has entered our space in the Van Marden star system. over here. There he is, the Karakath. It's en route to Tiergarden star when it encountered an anomaly. So we gained some little research data out of that random event, and a Vulcan ship has just pewed all the way across the map.
Anomaly detected.
The Inner Light. This is a great little event. We're going to send our person to research that. I think it's a fun little one to explore. You'll see when it pops up once the
Ships upgraded.
So as you can see, our fleet's strength is slightly increased because of the upgrades that we've done. I just need to make a quite adjustment. It thinks we've got an extra next type, so just adjust that. Yeah.
Survey complete.
Well spotted. There is some space for the world to build. However, they don't have the available population yet. So I can build here, but the buildings won't be doing anything until you've got workers in them. So it's kind of building ahead with some of these. Mars is a good example of it being a bit rubbish because you can't really terraform it until you've got the technology to do so. Mars is a bit of a dud in that respect. We've got stuff built on Terra Nova, and we're building a monument on Alpha Centauri. I'm tempted to leave that for now until we've got a position where we've got spare population to go ahead and do stuff with them. Okay, so this alien probe above Stellaris Primus appears to activate as the ship's sensors sweep over it. A surge in nucleonic particles is detected moments before a beam penetrates the Bonaventure's hull. The beam is aimed directly at Captain Hong Si-tu, and after a moment of dizziness, she falls to the floor unconscious. The XO orders red alert, and the medical team rushes to the bridge. The chief medical officer quickly realizes that the captain is, in fact, in a deep REM sleep cycle, only accelerated many orders of magnitude faster than normal. So let's back off. Let's reverse thrusters and see what that does. See if that helps. As we back away from the probe, not even at full impulse, it managed to keep a steady relative position while continuing to keep this nucleonic beam at Captain Hong Si-tu. So we could raise shields, we could shoot the thing down, but I know this event, so I'm going to be a little bit cheeky here. I'm just going to say I'm going to hold position and I'm going to wait and see what happens. Several minutes pass, Captain's sleeping soundly, crew's uneasy, but the medical officer is insisting that everything is fine, so we're going to continue to monitor the captain here. And we'll play a little rescue flute as the event comes to an end. It's really loud, actually, like the music on this little event is really loud. After several minutes, the probe finally switches off. Turn that down a little bit. Captain looks around as if seeing the bridge for the first time. The crew explained that she's been asleep for less than half an hour, but Captain Si-tu has experienced an entire lifetime of memories living in what appears to have been a simulation of life on a long-dead planet. Captain orders the probe to be locked on with a grappler, brought into the cargo bay, where they find an age-old flute which seems to have special meaning to Captain Hong Si-tu. This is a really great little event, this one. I really like this one because it's like the Inner Light event in Star Trek TNG. And it gives your captain a nice little boost to get a massive experience gain, and a really cool little trait, which is nice. So yeah, that levels them up. Let's max out your linguist trait. I think that's a safe option.
Technology
no idea
discovered.
who they are, which is interesting. I guess we'll wait and see. Floaty tentacled alien octopus people. Yeah, so we'll continue the refits. What I was going to say is that when we get into the ship design, you can see in terms of when they get the ships upgraded. So I love these ship models; they're so beautiful. But what you'll find is that you can get the ship upgrades to a slightly different model. So the Columbia upgrade actually physically changes the model into the semi-canon. I don't think it's official canon, but I think there was discussion that this is what the Enterprise would have looked like in further seasons of if the show had continued. They were going to upgrade the ship to add the lower star drive section, which is pretty cool actually. I really like the way this looks as a model. I'll turn off auto generation of designs. Yeah, it's just let's upgrade the NX class and refit it.
Anomaly detected.
Unknown vessel. That looks familiar. Tee. Anyone want to hazard a guess about what that unknown vessel was that it looked like? It's an ancient DY class vessel, built centuries ago at the turn of the 20th century. Interesting.
Log updated.
So we can
Ships upgraded.
let's send Trip to research that then, shall we?
Technology discovered.
Yeah, so we've got some upgrades to our ships now. I'm just going to start looking at some of that mineral boost. Cause that's
Special project complete.
The SS Elmer Gary is a DY-100 class ship. Elmer Gary. I understood that reference. I hope other people do too. So it's filled with Starship grade materials and Tetherium, which is nice. So we got a little bit of stuff out of that. Which is cool. Possibly not the event that everybody thought it was going to be. I don't know. Head of research, counselor, propulsion or biology. Propulsion is always good to have, like speeding up ships on the screen.
Technology discovered.
So we've encountered. Oh, so we've communicated with the Vendorian Commonwealth.
An alien empire is making contact.
I don't remember the Vendorians. I don't know if anyone else does. I can't remember. Throw it in the chat if you know canon-wise where they came from. Yeah. I've just noticed I have enough influence to build a starbase. So I'm going to build I'm going to start expanding down this way, as per you guys, your wishes on that side. So where are
Initiating
the
communications.
Up in this neck of the woods near the Zach Dawn. What's really cool as well is that, I mean, having played this mod a few times, I know that there are certain races that will appear in certain spaces of the map. So I know where the major empires generally will spawn, but some of these are a little bit more random in terms of whether they'll appear and exactly where. So for
Anomaly
instance, the Zach Dawn are pretty random in terms of where they appear. They're generally in this area, but they might expand in a certain direction. Similarly with the Vendorians, pretty random where they appear and how they choose to expand. Which is cool. It means that no two games are ever the same. Which are really, again, really fun. Adds to the replayer value. Nathan Samuels, let's make you... Let's give you the industrialist boost so you can boost the output on Arcani that we put you on earlier on.
Technology discovered.
So we start. What's cool here is now you can see that we unlock the ship type Icarus class frigate. So some of these ships and the classes that are not necessarily seen in the TV shows, some of them come out of beta canon, you might want to call it. So I've seen ships that are not in necessarily TV shows and films, but are in other mediums and other bits. So maybe from books or from fan fiction, from stuff that's been talked about that might have been included at one point behind the scenes but was never actually shown on screen. So I think that's pretty cool. I don't know if the Icarus class is necessarily a official ship. I don't remember seeing it before, but I think they have to fill the gap sometimes between Enterprise and Discovery. There's a big gap there, so sometimes they have to fill the technology gap there with some kind of middle ground stuff as well. So, technology, let's have a look. Sensors Mark II is really good. I will take that. Like additional sensor range.
Anomaly detected.
Oh, hello. Oh my goodness, guys. I'm really sorry, but canon has actually been achieved since Trip Tucker has just been killed by, well, in this instance, it was the Romulans, from the looks of things. So our scout ship out in the distance in the Ankar system appears to have encountered a Romulan ship, which violently attacked them and abducted a number of our crews. I'm not going to go into details because this is apparently they've committed atrocities against us, against the hostages, which is a bit grim, including Trip. So I'm really sorry, really sorry, Trip fans, but he has now died, and we've lost his ship, and we need a new director of exploration. So I'm going to pick someone to be our director of exploration. Those two are already working on the council, so Hong C2 can be our new director of exploration. I think I would like you to be. Apparently you can't be. So it looks like hero of the Xindi crisis, Miriam Morales, is taking over as director of exploration. I'm wondering whether it's time to expand the fleet a little bit. We've got the crew and the alloys to do so. I think I'm going to add a Poseidon-class cruiser, and I'm going to replace the science ship we lost as well. I've seen frigates show up, but they seem like corvettes with extra steps. What's with them? Frigates are a little bit like corvettes. I think they operate slightly differently. I think it's something to do with canon as well. Not canon, vanilla Stellaris as well. Yeah, do we have a clone lying around? That would be nice, wouldn't it? The frigates, I think, are designed to be more like missile boats and torpedo boats than phasers. Okay. The crossing. Let's run away. Oh no, we've gone inside of giant chamber of unknown design. Okay. Firing weapons might be a nice one here, but let's investigate. Ooh, okay. So, Captain Hong Se-2 investigates the vessel's interior, which adapts to human atmosphere, which is interesting. A number of bright blue wisps of light fill the chamber, floating around the away team. One that even passes through their EVA suits, which is strange. So they may be in some way sapient, and the key to escaping. We could investigate countermeasures, or we can attempt a dialogue. I think we're Starfleet. We've got to attempt a dialogue, right? That's the way we do this. So the ship's communications officer appears to be possessed by one of the wisps. In order to attempt to learn more from them, and then surprised by the willingness to talk, the wisps indicate that it belongs to a non-corporeal species, and the vessel there within sustains it. The vessel is falling apart though because they're non-corporeal. So let's see if we've got any way of helping them repairing the vessel, I guess. Working with the wisps through possessed volunteers, the Bonaventure is able to successfully repair their vessel and provide a number of long-term maintenance systems that should help prevent further damage, which is great. Wisps are really grateful, as they should be, and they've given us some nice society research. Very nice indeed. Guess what, guys? They weren't out to kill us. Okay, so we've finally encountered the Romulan Star Empire. Jolan True. While we do not object to occasional diplomacy, we prefer to mind our own affairs. If the United Earth can honour this arrangement, we will remain amicable neighbours. we're delighted to meet them. But after they kill Trip, I'm not as friendly towards the Romulans as they would want me to be. And they've closed their borders to us. So they're based up here, the Romulans, in this neck of the woods.
Technology discovered.
And they'll build out, and we'll see that eventually in terms of how big they grow further on down the line. Ooh, a new warp drive. That's not a bad idea at all. I like having a good warp drive. Upgrading that on my ships is generally a good idea. We want them to be as fast as possible.
Construction complete.
Yeah, Romulans have come in to the game quite early. We've not seen any sign of Klingons or Cardassians as the other major ones as yet. But we'll see, there's still time. We're still growing. Still got ages before we can get the alliances up and running and then start talking about assembling a federation. Which is a bit frustrating. So let's continue to expand outward. I don't want the Tellarites to take over some of these nice territories over here. Ooh boy, just noticed the Orion fleet there is 3k military power. Now, we do have a pact with the Vulcans, a mutual assistance pact with the Vulcans, so they'll help us out and their fleet is pretty strong. So I'm slightly less worried about the Orions. But since we've now got this Poseidon class ship as well, I'm tempted to add even more fleet strength here. Let's get ourselves another NX class ship, shall we? And as you can see, this is what I was talking about before with the Orions. They've increased crime so much on Earth now that there's a criminal underworld on planet Earth, and it's
technology
going to
discovered.
affect the productivity of the planet. It's up to 60% crime, which is nasty. We have got some events that we can do further down the line. We can start doing martial law and increasing stability, but that's generally a bit of a last resort. While I'm here, though, I might rebuild the Orpheus colony on the moon. That's quite good. Societal events. What's good to pick from here? These are pretty generic, so I'll just pick a random one. Don't have strong feelings on that front.
Survey complete.
I feel like exploring up here is taking absolute ages. Oh, hello. Now that's interesting. The Vulcans have declared war on the Orions. Now, we have a mutual defense pact with the Vulcans, so this doesn't draw us into the war. If it had been the other way around, if the Orions had declared on the Vulcans, we'd have been drawn into fighting. I don't know how this will pan out. This is an interesting one. AI versus AI is obviously a bit iffy sometimes. Depends on what it does. Vulcan fleet looks to be a bit stronger, but we'll see how well it uses it. Sometimes things can go a bit pear-shaped. So we'll see how that pans out for the Vulcans over the medium term. We do have the USS Strata now built, a new ship for exploration. We've got some new recruitable leaders here as well, some external ones. I don't know where they come from. Oh, they're from North Star. That's quite cool. So North Star can send us leaders as well. Baishen, Ludwig von Gebster, Adit Kuti, and Ning Lin. So we've got another engineer, recruiter. Ooh, it's not a bad one, but that's slightly less useful for a scientist. I'm actually more inclined to pick this guy with, or this lady, shall I say, Baishen, with the customized tricorder. That's useful. So we'll get you in, young lady, and we'll send you off to explore. Yeah, we'll give you resilience as well. Lovely job, please.
Survey complete.
Now, as my fleet strength grows, once we've got this new NX class ship, I mean, we may be in a position where we might be a bit strong enough to support the Vulcans in terms of their invasion of the Orions. Don't know. We'll see. Could be a position where we have a conversation about how we do that. Yeah, and as I've noticed, although it'd be good to get another building structure here, I'm going to have to build a mining district due to the issues on Earth with the crime syndicates. Our mining production is slightly hit, which means my minerals gain is going to hit red now. So, hello. Oh, and there we go. Wars are all kicking off now. The Romulans have declared war on the Zakdorn. So they'll probably try and subjugate those guys as well. So here we go.
Complete.
Wars are kicking off. The Andorians are making friends with the Zakdorns. Commercial and research pacts there, so they're building up friendship on that side of things. It's entirely possible before we form the Federation that these guys could go off and form alliances of their own, which makes it even more challenging to then actually kind of get them into our own alliance and form the Federation later on. And we've encountered the Cardassian Union. Hello, Cardassians. They're down here. Of course, nearish the Trill. From what I can see, that's generally where those spawn as
detected.
Well. So we're not far off 2 hours on this particular stream, so I'm probably going to be wrapping things up in the not too distant future. We'll try and get to a nice, reasonable point where we can leave things. I do want to try and keep expanding as much as we can, while influence allows us to. Our toy factory, Alder Armin, has some interesting ruins. One condition, one is intact. Interesting. This is the source of the noise. Not only is the building intact, but it's active. It's a production factory of some sort, turning plasticine polymers into new objects of uncertain but possibly ornamental purpose. The raw materials in Emperor are largely uninteresting, but we could learn something from it. So this random planet in Alderarmin has a toy factory on it. Interesting. And yes, so we've rebuilt the Orpheus mining colony on the moon. Great, so we have a portion of the life form discovered on that planet has infiltrated the Bonaventura. A web-like creature has occupied the cargo hold and appears to have a number of the ship's crew entangled, connecting to and bridging the neural pathways. It's unclear what this creature wants, or how to recover the people it's entangled. Interesting. Destroy it, or communicate. Interesting. Let's communicate with this strange creature that's tied us all up in fibres. So Captain C2, being a good scientist, has been able to communicate with this life form. Creature wants to go back to Alderarmin and rejoin itself. So the shuttle pod, we sent the shuttle pod on the creature and sent it back to its planet. Oh, that's nice. Well done, guys. So we have our third NX class ship, which is awesome. Let's pop it in the chat. We need another NX ship. What's give me a name for our new NX class starship, guys. We've got Enterprise and Atlantis. What ship is this going to be? We're going to give this one a custom name, I think. Semi-hero ship. And I will not accept Boaty McBoatface. Thank you very much. The Challenger. Oh yeah, I like that shout. That's a great shout. The USS Challenger. I wonder. Don't know if officially it has an NX designation. I think it's the NX07, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I like this. I like the Challenger. That's pretty canonical to the the ship naming conventions, if you want to call it that.
Survey
named after
complete.
space shuttles. In my understanding of the way that they went around naming them.
Ships upgraded.
Oh, yes, we need some mining station output boost. That'd be really helpful for keeping our minerals production coming in well. Oh, good. The United Planets of Stellaris declared the Vulcans their rivals. That's really conducive to a coalition of planets, isn't it? Okay, so yeah, so options for expansion are really limited now. We've got this zone up here and a few systems down here that the Orions haven't picked up yet. We can't claim Delta Volantis. Because it's a star cluster, you're not actually able to build star bases there, so we can't connect up to the Trill, unfortunately. The Romulans have gone more militaristic with their ethos. Doesn't surprise me necessarily very much. Challenger is NX-03. Discovery. Yeah, but Discovery leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Sorry, Becca. I'll fix that. So it's the NX-03.
Technology discovered.
So yeah, upgraded sensors. That's good. That should help us expand out in terms of our fog of war a little bit as well. Let's take the Type 2 photon torpedoes. And upgrade the sensors on all our ships.
Ships upgraded.
So yeah, as I say, unfortunately we're in a kind of a bit of a holding pattern now as we wait for a few things to happen. Oh, well, we have encountered the Bajorans, which is great. They wow. Bajorans actually have a reasonable number of systems here, other than Bajor. They're down here in the Regulon system as well, and 90 sets, so they're next to the Trill. That's quite interesting. As I say, it's completely random sometimes on the mod in terms of which of these sort of minor empires are able to expand outward and do more stuff and build themselves up, and some of them just stay to one system sometimes. Yeah, like the Xindi, for instance, they've taken over an extra system or two, but they tend not to expand much. They're one of the ones that don't particularly seem to grow particularly large. Interesting that the Bajorans have expanded. I don't imagine that'll last long. Based on my knowledge of how the Cardassians operate, they'll probably come in and start trying to take that over at some point. Nice conversation about the NX-07, NX-4, 5. Yeah. I don't know if I will necessarily build enough NX class ships to hit through the whole litany of names. I like a little bit of variety in the fleet. So we're hitting a point here where it's being a bit difficult to kind of explore. In fact, what I might do is I might send you off. Might send the Belfast off to do some automated exploration, so I don't have to keep manually sending it places.
Technology discovered.
Type 3 warp drive, which is good. That'll speed our ships up. I've got access to the Yorktown class cruiser, so it's a slightly bigger ship than the NX. I don't know if I need that at this stage. Tempted to take the mining subsidies and mineral platforms.
Survey complete.
As I say, it's a bit of we've hit that point of where it's a slightly slower grind as we're waiting for a few things to happen. Looks like the Vulcans are doing reasonably well with their war. They've partially occupied the Orion home system. I don't know where their fleets have ended up. I guess they must be in one of these Starker systems that we can't see at the moment. Yeah, don't know what's going to happen there. It's probably worth taking an Aria now. Though this
Survey
is not
complete.
something I'm urgently needing, but it's something that I'll probably
Council agenda ready.
interested later in the game. So, completing We Come in Peace. What else can we do here? Colony development speed, don't need at the moment because we've got no colonies in development. Open arms. Ooh. Evolving Society gives us a unity boost, which we were hoping to get so that we can get towards further down the diplomacy tree.
Initiating communications.
Yeah, okay, Bashorans, you can have an embassy. Okay. Brilliant has whipped across the map. So it went from Nehru towards Cassiopeia towards Anaria and then ended up in Aurelius. Well done. Well done indeed, sir. Yeah, I agree with you, Cypher. The Yorktown in Legacy was pretty fun to play with. That game had some nice ships, actually. That was nice ship designs and some stuff to play with. I was quite impressed.
Evading hostiles.
We're encountering some more aliens.
Technology discovered.
I wonder who could be in the Breen system. Gosh, I need to spend some time figuring that one out. But I guess it makes sense. I was having this conversation the other day actually with someone who's never quite figured out where the Breen sit. I don't think it's ever established because they relatively close to the Federation. I think it kind of probably nearish the Cardassians from the Dominion War stuff, but I don't think it was ever really established. But someone could correct me in chat. Yeah, and as you can see up here, actually, you can see that the Romulans have already invaded the Devron system, which I think the Devron system was in Generations or something like that, wasn't it? Oh no, that was All Good Things. That's where I know the Devron system from. I am such a geek, but I remember that the Devron system was the weird spatial anomaly thing that Q was, I don't know, responsible for, but was a big deal.
Construction complete.
Council agenda available.
I wonder, have we got... We have got a free envoy, so I might start working on
Technology
a few more of
discovered.
these and build out our influence level again. If we can. Let's swing around the other side of the Tellarites. Let's have a look here. Yeah, let's get some reduction in build costs for our stations. That'd be good as we expand as well.
Survey complete.
Activated ship. Good stuff. Finally, we're there. Right, get the alliances perk, which means that in theory we should be able to form an alliance, but because they're at war, we can't form an alliance with them right now. Which is really frustrating. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up some pacts with the Andorians and see if they'll become more friendly with me.
Technology discovered.
Maxia Zeta system. Again, if you know your canon, you know what we might be encountering up there. So yeah, we've got some friendship with the Andorians now. Quite ready to form an alliance. Let's say why.
Anomaly
I
detected.
think I understand what's going on here. So the yeah, the Andorians are rivals of the Vulcans, and because we're friends with the Vulcans, they don't want
Technology
to
discovered.
necessarily become in an alliance with us. This is the problem with the game sometimes in terms of trying to establish these alliances is very dependent on what the AI is up to at any given point. I could form an alliance with the Tellarites. I'm going to leave that one up to the chat. Do we go ahead and form an alliance with the United Planets of Tella at this stage? Or do I wait for the Vulcans to finish their war and form an alliance with the Vulcans instead? Let me know what you think in the chat. Can we not form two alliances? No, we can't have two separate. Once you're into an alliance, you form a federation in inverted commas. It's not the federation, but a federation with them. We're forming an alliance. You can get others to join your alliance, but at this stage, it looks like the Tellarites and the Vulcans are at loggerheads. The Vulcans have basically annoyed everyone because the Vulcans. So while we're in a defensive pact with them, that's fine, but we need to be in a formal alliance with at least one of the founding members to be able to start forming the Federation. So we could potentially do that with the Tellarites. We could do a human Tellarite Federation and form the UFP that way. Or we could wait and do it with the Vulcans. I don't think we can get both of them into the alliance at the same time. At this stage, it's one of those really tricky things. Might be able to do some sort of mutual support thing later on with certain edicts, but it does make it tricky at this point. That said, I mean, the Tellarites don't have a terrible position there. They've got a good number of colonies. Yeah, we might be able to get the Andorians on board afterwards. I don't know how they feel towards. I mean, they're not rivals at this stage, so we could potentially throw an alliance offer at the Tellarites and see what they think. Is that where we're leaning? Do you think incorporating Vulcan later? We can do it later on as the Federation. We could incorporate the Vulcans afterwards, because they won't be as bothered about the whole Tellarite thing. Once we form the Federation itself, we just become the Federation. It's an interesting way that the game works, the mechanics, in terms of actually forming the UFP. So yeah, Path of Least Resistance, I agree. I think that's probably fair, whilst we can get them to form it. So let's form a... Let's see what happens. And you can see what happens when we form this alliance and when they accept.
An alien empire is making contact.
So we've formed the alliance because the Tellarites have done some exploration and met some more people, so we get access to their communications now, which is a load more influence, in fact, which is really good. So we've met the Barzans, who you'll know from Discovering Strange New Worlds. Great lovist friendship set to music, Barzan. Okay, interesting. We've encountered the Binars, we've encountered the Packlets, and we've encountered the Ferengi, and the Bree.
Spaceborne life form encountered.
Well. So that suddenly expands things out up here a little bit, in terms of our alliance. So we get access to some of what they've explored as well here, so we can see a little bit further out what's going on up this way. So to say, you can see the Ferengi and the Binars are up here. And the Packlets are up this direction too. So essentially we've got form an alliance, which means we'll share line of sight. We can have joint fleet action, so we've got access in terms of what all of their fleets are doing and where they're going. They've got a pretty decent-sized fleet compared to ours at the moment, which is not too bad. What this enables us to do in future with the agendas list is that we'll be able to get access to the UFP once we can get another Empire on board. So, well, I mean, we may look at if we can increase the Trill. The Trill might be interested. I don't know whether they'll like the Tellarites. That's the only issue here. So we could be a bit finicky. It could be a case of waiting and seeing what else is happening. But now that we've established that alliance, I feel like this might be a great place just to kind of pause the stream. I've played for about 2 hours here, so I'm running out of voice. I've probably got to go and put my son to bed or something as well. But I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been a nice change of pace for me just to try and run this through, explaining what I'm doing as I'm playing. It's a long game. These games tend to run on quite a number of hours. So in total, my first episode was under 2 hours in terms of what was presented, but it was edited down from about the same length of time, about 2 hours again. So hopefully I'll be running another one of these streams. We'll potentially picking up where we left off, or I might accelerate things forward a little bit to make it a bit more interesting as we go forward. But I'm going to leave the save there. You've all been awesome too. It's been great fun just to have people in the chat and offering ideas and exploring some of the storylines together. We'll do more of this as we go forward. It's been great. Very, very enjoyable. And I'm going to sign off from speaking now. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you on the next stream. So thank you all. Speak to you soon.